Wow, 90,000 subscribers. Outstanding. I can't believe that there are 90,000 of you out there that actually chose to subscribe to my channel. That is outstanding. I am humbled, I am honored, and I want to thank all of you very much for being here. So we're going to push on from 90 up to 100K, because at 100,000 subscribers, you get the famous silver play button from YouTube. They do this nice little plaque that they send you. It's got the silver button in it, and it has your channel name underneath the silver play button. It says, presented to Ham Radio 2.0 for the goal of reaching 100,000 subscribers on YouTube, and et cetera, et cetera. Like, I don't have one yet, so I'm not exactly sure what it looks like. I've seen pictures of other ones on other YouTube channels, so it's really fun. I'm going to look forward to putting that back there somewhere where it's in the background all the time. But in order to push to 100K, I need your help, obviously. I need your help to get up to 100,000 subscribers, and here's what we're going to do. I have already partnered with Flex Radio, and we are going to give away a Flex Radio 6400M when I reach 100,000 subscribers. This is going to be really fun. The 6400 is their entry-level radio, and the 6400M is the one with the screen, the Maestro screen, built into it. This is about a $3,000 radio. The 6400 is a great radio. I use it constantly. It works great with internet-connected programs like WSJTX. It works great for remote work with their Smart SDR software. It's a fantastic radio, especially if you win one for free. So once we get to 100,000 subscribers, I will be giving away on a live stream a Flex Radio 6400M model HF radio. Check the link in the description below for how to sign up. Basically, you'll click a link, provide your name and email address and call sign, and you'll be entered for a chance to win this radio after I get to 100,000 subscribers. So it's not going to happen tomorrow. It might take a couple months or something like that. So we have plenty of time to let you guys sign up. But check the link in the description below, sign up, and good luck to you. And thank you so much for making this channel such a success. It's all due to you, the viewer, not me, but you, the viewer. You guys rock. Thanks for being here in 73. Okay, and there it is. There it is. There it is. Wow. Welcome to Sunday night. Thank you, everyone, for joining us tonight. Ham Radio 2.0 live stream. I got a special guest, Steve Goodgame, K5ATA, is going to be joining us tonight. We're going to talk about training the next generation of ham radio operators and what he does for a living during the day, and how he accomplishes what he does and all that kind of good stuff. So a couple of quick announcements. Let me first welcome everyone to the chat. Smoking Ape is in the house. Of course, Goodgame's out there as well. Ham Radio Adventure Guy, I saw you in there. K8MRD is out there. I saw N5SKT come in there. Fred Romeo, good evening, sir. Good to see you back again. Travis, I don't know what to say to you, dude. But yeah, I'm glad you watch. Travis, I added Travis to my text messaging list because I didn't ask his permission. I just did it because I've known the boy for like 15 or 16 years. And I'm like, I'm just adding you to this. So that's why he shows up every time I send out a text. And if he unsubscribes, I just add him back again. But I don't do that to everybody. I just do it to Travis. But it's all good. So tomorrow night's Monday Night Ham Radio. We got a really cool lineup for you tomorrow night. This is the list that's up there right now. There's only 4 videos up there right now. However, there's at least 1 or 2 more that are going to be posted. We recorded a YouTubers Bunch episode a week ago today, and it was all about the Huntsville Hamfest, and there's already been changes since we recorded that. But it's a really good episode. There was about 7 or 8 of us in that recording. It's the first YouTubers Bunch episode we've done since 2021. And, well, since 2020, and that's the first one we've done of 2021. So I'm editing that. It will be done tonight. I meant to have that done yesterday, and I just fell behind for whatever reason. So I will have that edited, uploaded tonight, and it will go live tomorrow on the Monday Night Ham Radio playlist. So that's going to be a fun, just kind of like an hour-long chat amongst myself and 6 or 7 other YouTubers about what's happening next weekend. If you didn't catch it yet, Coffee and Ham Radios with the Smokin' Ape, Ham Radio Dude, KK6USI, and USY, I'm sorry, and temporarily offline. So I did this, I pulled this stream up, and I hit pause, and I'm like, that's the perfect screenshot. Because right now, Ham Radio Dude's like, what are you talking about, Willis? That's the look on his face right there. And Goodgame's, or I'm sorry, KM9G, his name is Steve. KM9GTO, he's like, this guy again? And then Chuck's just laughing at everybody. And Ape is using some phrase with the word son in it. So that's the screenshot there. So I gave Frank the link to this video. So they do a mega giveaway announcement yesterday morning. They need 5,000 views on this video so that they can give away the item, which I think they announced it during the video. They can give away the item that Gigaparts is donating to them. So go watch that video, rewatch it, watch it a couple times, whatever. And when I took this screenshot earlier today, they had just over 1,000, so they need 4,000 more views on it. Go help those guys out. They will be thrilled that you did. So make a comment in there as well. So BridgeCom Systems, this is the other link that Frank is going to post in the chat. They're doing a Hot Summer Nights giveaway. If you watch my Friday shopping videos, you've already seen this. $4,256 worth of stuff. We need to get some of Steve's Padawans in here to sign up for this, because all you need is a valid amateur radio call sign in the United States to be entered into this contest. So it'll include a DMR HT, a DMR mobile radio, extra antennas for both, a power supply, a hotspot, code plugs for both, plug-and-play programming for both, BridgeCom University, which is a full set of videos about how to do all kinds of stuff with the Anytone radios. It includes a Zygu G90 with an antenna, a cooling bracket, and the data interface expansion card, a BridgeCom Systems hat, and their UHF analog repeater with a set of duplexers. $4,200 value. Must have a valid amateur radio call sign to enter. There are multiple ways to get points in there. As I've said before in the past, I've got like 20,421 entries right now, but I'm not eligible to win because I'm helping them promote this one. So check out the link in the chat that Frank is going to share, or he probably just shared, and go sign up for that. Please sign up for that. You have nothing to lose by signing up. Get your friends to sign up. Get your family to sign up. Anyone with a valid call sign, get them to sign up and go win that BridgeCom Systems package. It's an awesome package. DMR, QRP-HF, repeater system, everything. It's really, really, really cool package. So thanks to BridgeCom Systems they do a giveaway every month. This one's huge. This is the biggest one I've ever seen them do. So it's really fun to see. For the Huntsville Hamfest, which of course is next weekend, that's where we'll all be sitting a week from today. Gigaparts has put together what they call an influencers schedule, 2021 Huntsville Hamfest influencers schedule. So at their booth on Saturday, August 28th, several of us will have a 1-hour segment for you guys to just come by and do a meet and greet and talk about whatever the heck you want to talk about. Ham Radio 2.0, I'm going at 9. Actually, I thought that was 10. They might have moved that. So this says 9. It's either 9 or 10. I don't know. Keep watching this. I'm going at 9. Eric from Ham Radio Comsets is going at 10. Josh is going at 11. Mike K5ATA is going at 12. The guys from Ham Radio Clubhouse, which I think Beer Snack, Shane, who else? K4AFL, and someone else will be there. 4 of them, 4 of the 6 of them will be there. Izzo won't be there, and Molson won't be there. So I think everyone else will be there. I'm forgetting someone. I apologize right now, but I'm forgetting someone. But Daniel, Shane, Izzo, Beer Snack, Joe, and Steve. Steve, that's the one I'm forgetting. Steve will be there. Or no, K4AFL, Joe is who I'm forgetting. So anyway, those guys will be there from 1 to 2, meet and greet about their show, and then Ham Radio Dudes going from 2 to 3. So this link will also be shared in the chat. You can reach out to Gigaparts. You can find out about stuff. This is a really cool wide-angle shot that they took a couple years ago at the Hamfest from their booth there. You can see how it's kind of like 180 degree. This might even be a 360 degree. I don't know. But it's a really cool cool effect they got going on there. So that link will be shared in the chat also. So let's see. What else? So Allstar, I'm going to be running my Allstar node in the truck when we leave out of here, either Tuesday night or Wednesday morning. I will be connected to my home hub, which is node number 43136. So those of you with Allstar can connect to us and talk to us. Mike, KWMRD, and I are driving up together from here. We were going to leave first thing Wednesday morning. We're talking about maybe leaving Tuesday night. Haven't really decided yet, but at some point in time, we're going to hit the road. I'm going to post. I'll probably post in Discord and maybe on Instagram or something and say, hey, we're hitting the road. Get on Allstar. We're going to talk to people on the way in, so that's going to be a fun ride. So anyway, looking forward to next week. A lot of stuff going on next week. Monday Night Ham Radio tomorrow night. Ham Radio Clubhouse on Tuesday night. We're going to be talking about Huntsville again. Mike and I leave Tuesday night or Wednesday morning, something like that. We're going to drive in. Thursday and Friday are going to be fun festivities in Huntsville. Saturday and Sunday, the hamfest. And then Monday, we'll be there Monday, probably come home, start to head home Monday night. So action-packed next 6 or 7 days, and I'm looking forward to it. So let's get on to the main event here. I'm going to switch over there. Yeah, let's switch over there. I'm going to put my headset on. Boom. I'm going to unmute you guys, and then I'm going to unmute myself and switch that. Hey, Steve, Frank, how you guys doing tonight?
Good. How are you?
Oh, man, I'm hanging in there. So, Frank, you want to do your thing? You're still tired?
No, I'm up for it. You ready?
I'm ready.
Hang on, let me
I'm
put
ready.
my coffee down if he's going to
Yeah,
yell.
exactly. Yeah, exactly.
I'm Tank Radio, KG5ATA, and we're on the Ham 2.0 live Sunday night stream with special guest Steven. I messed that up, but
yeah,
what's going on there? Good game.
I'm sorry. Did you say something? I had my
So I watched I listened to the first 1/3, maybe 1/2 of your interview with Dennis the other day, Frank, and he let you do that up front, and that was funny. Yeah. That was funny. I laughed at that.
I stumbled a bit on his
call
sign, but I always stumble on my call signs.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do. That's true.
Oh man, that was a fun interview. Did you get to the part where I talk about you?
I did, yeah, and I have a bone to pick with you because there's a lot of lies in that video. There's a lot of lies about how you were correcting me on stuff, and I'm like, I think you got that backwards.
Oh, there was a couple of times I mentioned you while at
probably
work.
I don't remember that. You're probably right. I don't remember that. So, all right. Well, turn your microphone back up because it was overbearing and now it's a little bit quiet.
Oh, I literally didn't change anything on my end.
All right.
Just blow it out.
Maybe. I don't know. Steve, say something.
Yeah, I'm good. He's a perfect volume for me, nice and low.
Right. Yeah. He's not as loud as you are, Steve, but that's cool. All right. So we're going to talk about. So Frank's going to be in the background watching, filtering questions tonight, like normal. I'm going to pin Steve's video here, and I'm going to switch this view over here. So, Steve, how are you doing today, man?
Good. Doing good. Had a great couple days of watching some good sessions on the QSO Today Expo. So
good.
That was good. And now I've got a pot of coffee I'm almost out of, and we're getting there. Good.
Well, hey, that's yeah, I was talking before the stream started. I was like, man, I just can't drink coffee when it was like 95 degrees outside today. Woke up this morning, it was 74. We had a cold front come through with some rain yesterday, and they said the high today was like going to be 89 or something, but it got higher than that. So I just can't drink coffee when it's hot outside. I'm just like, no, not me, not for me.
I can pretty much drink coffee anytime.
And I don't like, I say I don't like it. I don't prefer iced coffee. I like my coffee hot and with some creamer in it, no sugar, but a creamer in it.
That's communism right there.
Yeah, I know. I'm not a true coffee fan. I don't claim to be. However, at the hunting lease, we have a true percolator. And I set the percolator on the fire and just regular old Folgers or whatever kind of coffee in it. And I drink that black, and that's the best coffee I've ever had. Through a percolator not through a machine. Yeah. It was just, I tried that 3 or 4 years ago, and I'm like, and I'm just drinking it black because we didn't have any creamer with us. Usually I have powdered creamer in the trailer, and I didn't have any with me. So I just drank some black because it was really cold out that morning. It's like 26 degrees or something. I'm like, I want something warm, and picked it up, and I'm like, this is pretty darn good. I think I would do this. So now I'll drink it black out of a percolator, but that's about the only way I'll drink it black.
Well, if you ever see me putting cream or sugar in it, the coffee sucks, and I'm trying to fix it. So, but no,
good.
Today on the QSO Today, I think everybody who signed up for it can go back and rewatch those sessions. And if you did not see Carol Perry's youth forum with 4 kids that presented some pretty cool stuff that they're doing. Definitely go and check those out. So, somebody was asking in there what's in ham radio for 2021. Well, those 4 kids can explain that to you. So
really
head on over. No. They're doing some cool stuff. Audrey McElroy was in there. She's the balloon queen or princess, however you want to phrase it. And
yeah,
I mean, there's some kids doing some cool stuff. And so, it's kind of
good.
It was a good day.
Good. Excellent. Yeah, I didn't catch that form. I caught a couple this morning, and
there were so many you could, like anything else, you pick one and then you're like, well, I hope the rest of them you can watch later. So
yeah, they should be available for 30 days on the same platform they're on now, and then afterward, like I had Eric on the show last Wednesday, and if you go to QSO Today hamexpo.com, you can go to present. I forget it's there's a link at the top where you can watch past presentations, and the ones from last March and the ones from last year are all there. So he said 30 days on the platform, but after the platform shuts down 30 days from now, they'll be available through another link. It's basically just, I think it's a Vimeo upload that he's had. So yeah, you'll be able to watch those pretty much as long as from anytime you want to. So the youth forum sounds cool though. I'll have to check that out.
It was a good one. So
good. All right, man. So tell us about, well, for those who don't know, go ahead and introduce yourself. I've got Steve's channel linked in the YouTube description below, so you guys go check that out. He live streams every Wednesday night at 7 p.m. Central Time, if I got that right.
Yep.
And you've been kind of lax on uploads lately, but you've been busy with other stuff. Steve, he also you're hired. You're actually an employee, part-time, I think, of the ARRL. So tell us about what you do during the day. Tell us about what you do with the ARRL, and we'll go from there.
So I teach by trade. I get to teach computer science, and I have a great administration that a couple of years ago let me have 2 class periods a day where I kind of got free reign on what I taught, as long as it was somehow related to STEM. So I took that and went to him and said, okay, well, you're saying I kind of have free reign. Showed him amateur radio, been licensed since 94 myself. And, kind of explained, he said, yeah, go for it. And so for the last couple of years, we've been teaching kids ham radio, getting them licensed. We've had, I think it's 52, I think is the count right now.
Nice.
Kids that are licensed, with a couple generals, and one has upgraded all the way to extra. Just doing stuff, obviously test practice stuff and whatnot, but also kit building, teaching them how to solder, teaching them how to build antennas and stuff like that. So, but yeah, my uploads have been lax of late, because in January I started working for the ARRL as well. And for them, they're trying to think of my official title is Lifelong Learning Instructional Designer. So basically I help them write curriculum, edit video, stuff like that for the new learning center that we're launching here in the hopefully very near future. I get to work with, you saw Tommy Gobers in the chat in there somewhere. He's one of the instructors for our annual Teachers Institute. And so that's another thing that I help with is, every year they bring, this year it was virtual, but teachers in to teach them how to teach amateur radio in school. So the 2 jobs kind of fit perfectly well together. It eats up a whole lot of hours. So yeah, I don't, like you said, I've fallen behind. I've got several videos that I've filmed. I just hadn't had the time to edit them because I'm always editing other stuff. So
right. Yeah. Well, good. So how many people have you got? How many kids have you got licensed? We can say kids on this channel. If they ding me, I'll just go back and say, well, there's not kids on the channel.
So yeah, I think we're at 52, I think is the number.
52. Okay. I heard you say 52. I wasn't sure if that was upcoming or what you had done in the past.
No,
okay.
I've got 10 or 15 or so already studying right now. Some of them studying for this new school year for their technician. And some of them are kids that I got back that I had 2 years ago in 6th grade. I get them back in 8th grade. And they're studying to upgrade to general right now. So
good. Excellent. Okay. All right. So we did kind of a push for you 2 or 3 months ago, whenever that was.
Yeah,
About to
a couple months ago, yeah.
Yeah, something like that. You had just gotten 12 or 15 newly licensed technicians, and we were and I put something on one of my videos, and somebody else did too. I think it was maybe TO about getting radios to these kids who were just got their license, and that all got covered, did it not?
It did, and that's
Okay.
you know, the reason for that is, in fact, I was talking with Carol Perry and stuff in the youth forum today.
Mhm.
That's, in my opinion, that's one of the most important steps to getting a kid licensed, is not just get them licensed, but immediately get them on the air and give them the opportunity and the tools they need to stay on the air. I mean, yeah, I can have a radio in the classroom, but then they can only use the radio when they're in my classroom. Whereas this way, my goal is to give every single kid, and I say I give, but really it's y'all that give, every single kid most of the time it's a Baofeng, because, $25, a lot of times, they just show up on my doorstep and I don't even know who they're from, kind of thing. And I try to take notes so I can thank them later. But it's a pretty steady flow. And so, yeah, I had a deficit, I guess, of about 18 of them that to finish up for these kids that had already gotten their license. So we've got that covered. And now I've got a few of them left for the first few that get licensed this year. So.
Okay. Well, I've got 5 of them sitting right here next to me. They're all Fangs. One of them is a tri-band. The rest of them are dual band. And if anyone from Steve Goodgame's class is in the chat tonight, please let us know. I might have a free radio for you.
Yeah, I don't know if they're in there now. We have to be real careful about mixing social media with school stuff. So
yeah, understand.
There may be a parent or two that follows me that maybe they told their kiddo or something like that. But every now and then one makes their way into my live streams. But
I've seen some in your live streams before because they all call you Mr. Goodgame.
Yeah.
So they're like, "Hey, Mr. Goodgame," and you're like, "Oh, there's Ryan or whatever."
Yeah,
whoever
there's a
it is.
Padawan.
So, yeah, exactly. so well, good. Okay,
but
so
if I could take a second, I mean, I saw Vern 6 is in here, and he has sent. Yeah, I'm trying to call him out as I get him, but he recently sent some stuff out for the Padawans, and then I'm going to massacre his last name, and I apologize. It's Steve Cheppy, Chepey, K5SJC. I guess I had mentioned it on a stream or somewhere that I had one kid that's really interested in learning APRS, and so I got a box this last week full of APRS stuff, including a Kenwood TH7A, I think. Which, it's a little older radio, but it's got APRS built in. It's a great rig. So, and I'm singling you two out just because I saw them there and he's on my mind because he and I were just texting a minute ago, but just wanted to say thank you to them for that and everybody else who, there's some folks, Ham Radio Dude, he regularly sends and his viewers too, he has giveaways on his streams, and just the other day, he and Ape and T.O. had their Coffee and Ham radio stream, and somebody won an antenna. In fact, Dude won the antenna. And they said, forget it. We're just sending it to the Padawans. So it's stuff like that helps out. So thank y'all for that.
Definitely. Yeah, definitely. I can't agree more with what you said a minute ago about getting them on the air as soon as they get licensed, because that's a surefire way for them to get, I don't know if discouraged is the right word, or maybe just lose interest because something else comes up. At that age, I was like, ooh, shiny with everything. I didn't have any attention span at all. So, if they got a license and they're itching to get on the air and they don't have a radio, then they might, kind of lose interest or whatever. So getting them a radio where they can get on there seems like kind of paramount to me. So
yeah,
it's
and
good
you have to understand they're gonna lose. I mean, like you said, they're middle schoolers, so they're gonna interest is gonna wax and wane about as often as they change their underwear. So it's every week, and they're going to, if they don't have a radio sitting at the house, when all of a sudden they're like, hey, you know what, I ought to try that again. By the time they get back to me to borrow a radio or something, then that may have passed. Whereas this way, they're like, I ought to take that out. It's right there. It's theirs. I don't ask for it back. I don't even keep a record of who I gave what model radio to. It's just this is yours. So that way they've always got it. So
I got a couple of questions here about your classroom where you teach this. First one's from Don here is, do y'all have or thought about having a 9700 for a club radio? And then Ranger Smith asks, do you have an HF rig in the classroom? So kind of related.
Yeah, we'll take Ranger Smith first. Yes, we do have an HF radio. Last year, we had a funding, early last year, a funding drive to get a 7300.
I remember that.
And Ray Novak at ICOM did us a solid. And I don't know if I'm allowed to say exactly how cheap I got it, but let's just say
got a deal.
He the amount we raised covered the radio. So, you know, that's good. Shout out to ICOM and Ray for that as well. And I'm not terribly familiar with the 9700, so you might have to enlighten me a little bit on that, or I can Google it on the stream.
The 9700 is the same thing as the 7300, except that it's not HF. It's 2 meter, 440, and 1.2 gigahertz, all mode. Looks just like it. Unless you read the name on the front of it, looks just like the 7300. So it's supposed to be made so they go in a stack. So you have all bands except 220, but they call it all bands, not really all bands. Yeah. But all bands except 220, 900, maybe one or two others. But it's a beautiful radio. It's great for the reason they included 1.2 gigahertz is for satellite work, and it's all mode. So if you got a couple of VHF yak, so it's awesome to do if you've got a classroom full of technicians and they want to get on sideband. You can get on 2 meter sideband. You can get a 2 meter 440 Yagi or something and get on 2 meter sideband and work some 2 meter sideband and let them get into the world of sideband before they. You can do that on 10 meters also as a technician. Sometimes 10 meters is up, and most of the time it's not. But 2 meter sideband is actually quite fun. 2 meter FT8 is also quite fun. Which
I see Ray's in there. Well. So yeah, I'll be in Huntsville, Ray. So unfortunately, unfortunately, the child unit is not going to be able to come. She just got a new job, so she can't take that day off already. But I'll definitely be there, and I'll come by and check out that 9700. So that's the one. Didn't Josh just get that one?
No, he got the 7610.
7610.
That's the upgrade. Yeah, that's the upgrade to the 7300. That one's all HF and 6 meters. 9700 is kind of like, it's kind of like in a schoolhouse of its own as far as current radios. Like Yaesu used to make some all mode VHF UHF radios, like the FT736R and the FT847. I don't think either one of those. Well, the 736R had modules, so you could put in up to 4 different bands. But as far as I know, somebody correct me in the chat if I'm wrong. As far as I know, the 9700 is the only the only thing in current production that's like an all mode VHF UHF radio. And of course it's plug and play with FT8 and internal sound card, just the same way that in fact it has D-Star also. I forget about that part because the 7300 doesn't have D-Star, but the 9700 has D-Star because you can do D-Star on UHF and VHF. So it's got that extra kick to it as well if you want to get on D-Star. But it's a pretty. I looked at one really seriously a while back and I never picked it up just because I couldn't get money arranged in the right way. But eventually, I might grab one of those. It's a nice looking rig for sure.
So yeah, well, like Ray said, yeah, I'll definitely swing by the booth and check it out. And if you turn around long enough, I might have one. You know, I'll bring a big backpack and we'll distract you.
Yeah. N8YO's in the chat. He says 9700 is a fantastic rig. Been doing 2 meter meteor scatter lately. Several contacts between 800 to 1,000 miles. So N8YO on our Outer Banks trip, he just showed up, and he drove in from somewhere up north, somewhere outside of Chicago, Detroit, Chicago, wherever he is. I forget where he is. He's somewhere up north. He drove to the Outer Banks, and he got there, and he's like, yeah, so I did a thing on the way here. And he opened up his trunk and had a brand new 9700. He had stopped at HRO and bought a brand new 9700 on the way. And I'm like, dude, where's mine? So,
and yet still not able to get a satellite contact.
Yeah.
So I might have been tempted, when I was up in Connecticut doing Teachers Institute this summer, and on the way back we passed through Atlanta, and I was like, I was telling Cindy, my wife, I was like, it's not very far off the highway here, and she's like, no, and then,
but honey, it's for the kids.
Well, and I was towing 10,000 pounds of camper behind me, and honestly, that was the one time I've ever been passing through Atlanta and not had to slow down, and I figured I better take it while I could get it. So
I put 3,200 miles on my truck during the 2 weeks I drove from Dallas to the Outer Banks and then up north to Long Island and then back through Huntsville and back to Dallas. I think it was about 3,200 miles on the truck. The worst traffic anywhere was in Atlanta. It was terrible.
I think my mileage was 4,163 miles from driveway to driveway. So keep in mind that included, we camped 20 something miles outside of Newington. So I drove in every day and whatnot.
Well,
so,
okay. Yeah. I would have had more than that, but, when I got to Long Island, Bob drove everywhere. So I'd park the truck for like 3 days. So it was nice, but good. Well, cool. So tell us, Steve, what do you do with the ARRL exactly?
So I'm like I said, their lifelong learning instructional designer. So I've learned that kind of counts. That means I do a lot of little things for a whole bunch of people. But most of what I do is focused on the learning center and helping kind of recruit people to do webinars and courses, help build the courses, help, like I said, try to find people to come do webinars. So if anybody's interested, you have something you're passionate about in ham radio, go to the website, hit webinars, and there's a link you can put in a thing, and it's a 30-minute talk and a Q&A session, and it's a good time. And you don't have to have a big YouTube channel or anything like that. If there's something you're into, you can put it out there and we can get you and what it is you're passionate about out to other hams. Then I end up, like I said, I edit a lot of video, just hours and hours of it. Like I said, I help out with the Teachers Institute. In fact, that week of Teachers Institute, the first couple of days, we were pre-filming everything, which of course meant I went to the campsite and I was editing stuff all night to have it ready to air the next day. So, but it's just a little bit of a lot of things. I wrote an article for QST that's coming out, or maybe it's not QST. I don't know, one of them on the air, maybe. I think it's on the air.
Mm-hmm.
And that'll be coming out in September, I think, October.
Cool.
And, so just running around like a chicken with my head cut off, but having a great time doing it. Cause they pay me to do what I love, which is video stuff and ham radio. So I can't complain.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I don't blame you there. I am in the middle. I say I'm in the middle. I started it a while back, and then I put it down. I haven't picked it back up again, but I need to, of writing an article for QST. Well, I'm going to write an article that I'm going to submit to QST, and they might come back to me and say, "Get out of here, kid! You don't know what you're talking about." So, but and that's okay. But I'm going to try to submit. I've never submitted an article to QST before, and I would like to try to do it. And I've got a really good topic too. It's kind of based on stuff I've learned by doing YouTube. It's not about YouTube. It's about ham radio, but I'll tell you about it later offline, Steve. I don't want to tell anybody about it right now.
You don't want to let that out of the bag.
Right. Yeah. So, yeah. But yeah, it's a fun, it's definitely fun to get paid to do what you love to do. And even though you work 16 hours a day, it doesn't feel like it. It feels like you're taking a vacation. Sometimes.
So, well, like I said, it's all what I enjoy doing. And, most of the time I'm only allowed to clock a certain number of hours for them anyway, because it has to stay under a certain amount. Most of the time I do way more than that, just because you kind of get in a groove and all of a sudden, next thing you know, there it is. Tommy's in there saying, he made me sit at a baseball game and heckle players. So, we went to the Yard Goats game, and it was Tommy, my wife, myself, obviously, and Bob, and had a good time up there with that too. Next time we're going to try to antenna something that at the game. We won't tell you what.
The foul goal post.
I was about to say that.
Obviously,
no,
it's the tallest thing there.
Negative, Ghost Rider. I can promise you, nobody has ever antennaed what I'm going to antenna. And
okay.
Bob is reasonably certain he can get me up there to do it.
Up there. Oh, hint, hint. Bob's the guy who was on the happy hour the other night, right?
Yes, Bob.
Yeah.
Good
Okay. He seemed like a fun guy. I may have to invite him to the next one. So, but good, cool. Well, hey, man, this all sounds great. What can people do? I mean, okay, so besides the obvious, which we talked about, which sending in new radios, And Baofeng's the obvious choice just because you've got, it's not like you're training one kid a semester. You're training 10, 12, 15, whatever. And most people can't afford to go buy 10 or 12 FT3DRs because they're $325, or even in like an FT70 or something like that, which is like $150 a piece. So besides the obvious about purchasing hardware, what can people do to help you, get your influence out there to train more Padawans, get more people interested in that kind of thing?
Well, the biggest thing would, before it even comes to helping me, is reach out to your local schools too. I mean, it's not a one-man show by any means. There are several of us that do this sort of thing. I guess I'm the more public one.
Yeah.
But I know Bill Crow in Oklahoma, he's got a club he has in his school. So the most important thing is reach out to schools and see if there's a way to get amateur radio into the schools. And in fact, that's part of what we were talking about in the youth forum today, was people are like, well, how do we get past that administrative stonewall? Because a lot of times that's what it is. You get somebody coming in off the street and they're like, hey, I want to teach your kids something. And they're like, yeah, I'm sure you do. Get out. And, but my example today was just print off in May of every year, the ARRL awards scholarships. And it was something like $556,000 or something crazy this year of college scholarships. So when you slide across a piece of paper that says, just look at the scholarship opportunities this opens up for them. And that's just the ARRL ones. That's not counting the ones that Carol Perry's organization has and whatnot. I mean, there are scholarships all over the place for these kids. And that's how, I didn't have to do it. That's how I recommend to other people to get past that administrative stonewall. And it's also a great way to get parent buy-in. It's like when the parents are like, oh man, do I really want my kid doing this? And, because I mean, if they get into it, it's going to cost them money. I mean, I gave them that first radio.
Yeah.
But, I got a message from the kid who upgraded to extra. And, she said, I hope you have a part-time job for him to help pay for this new hobby of his. And I mean, we raised money, got him a G90, and he got the G90 and took it to the Smoky Mountains and got on the air on top of the Smoky Mountains with it. So
that's awesome.
But she's like, he's wanting to buy antenna wire. He's wanting to buy this. And so it's that little stuff, that I don't always necessarily have to have radios, but I always need projects. I always need connectors. I always need those little things, to teach them to solder, stuff like that. So,
right.
But,
all right, so we've got it. Yeah, speaking of that, I'm going to switch over to this screen here. So we've got a Padawan wish list that Steve shared with me before the stream started, and I'm showing it right here. And Frank's going to share the link to that in the chat. And these are the things that Steve's talking about: is batteries, PL259 connectors, PLA for 3D printer filament, all kinds of good stuff here. And I think we were talking about this. We're not 100% sure, but we think if you go here and add to cart and click on buy, it should just automatically ship to Steve.
Yeah, I've never actually done a wish list before. In fact, several of the coffee and ham radio guys are the ones that really hounded me. They're like, you need a wish list. You need a wish list. So I put together a wish list, and that's and I tried to pick, the least expensive options that there were. Obviously, sure, I'd love to get them all, a D-Star radio or whatever for their handhelds, but I mean, it's a lot of kids. I'm looking at probably 25 kids to get licensed this year.
Oh, that's good. And this semester, the fall semester?
I'll probably have 12 or 13 this fall semester, and before May, I'll have the rest.
Okay.
So,
okay. So 25 for the whole school year.
Yeah. See, for that one class that I have the freedom to do ham radio stuff, they get a lot of choice in what they do in there. Right now we're doing some Python programming and stuff, but when we get to a certain point, I kind of think back to elementary school where kids had centers kind of thing. They can kind of go and divide up how they want to divide up. And my deal with them is, if you get your amateur radio license, all of your grades for that semester turn into 100. And if you upgrade your amateur radio license, because, I have to accommodate for those kids too. Same deal. So, if they just really want to sit there and play radio the whole time, go for it. I'll give you 100 for it. And yet,
So
yes, Don, SO 239s are welcome too. Like, I was literally throwing that list together on the iPad today because
we wanted to share
I
it
was
tonight.
I was watching some of the QSO Today stuff, trying to get that stuff added in there. So and so that's certainly not the extent of everything. I mean,
Right.
you know, I say all the time, if you've got an old radio you're not using, I know a kid who will. And you know, Izzo has sent. We have a little Asden 2-meter rig in there that Izzo sent. That's what we use in the classroom for repeater work.
Those Asden radios were pretty cool back in the day. I used to have one or two.
It seems like a solid radio.
Yeah,
so.
yeah, they were pretty good mobile radios back in the day. Let me thank Christiana in 6KV for the $2 super chat. Christiana, I hope you're feeling better, buddy. Really appreciate you being in here tonight. He just had some surgery he emailed me about. I don't want to go into details with it. I don't know how much he wants shared. So you guys keep him in your thoughts. Really appreciate you being out here. And Vern, $50 in the super chat. Thanks for what you were both doing to promote our hobby. Vern called me today. You were talking about him a minute ago, Steve. He's at Montesano now. He got there today. Sweet. So he'll be there when we got there, and he called me. He's like, "Hey, don't go this way. Go this way." I'm like, "Okay, yeah, I already knew that, but that's cool that you're there, and it's all opened up." And he's like, "Yeah, I'm here. Everything's good." So it's good stuff. But thanks for
my porch area is going to be swept off and everything, right, Vern?
Yeah,
right.
Talking about what you're teaching in the class, Jason did have a question. Jason Clark. Are you talking about the electronic engineering components with the students, and do they seem to be interested in STEM aspect of amateur radio?
Yeah, so we are talking about the actual components, and that's part of what I need a bunch of these little kits. And in fact, this is one that I filmed a video on that I still haven't edited. It's the new FM receiver kit that the ARRL is going to sell, and it may already be on their website. I don't know, but it's just stuff like that so that I can sit there and show them, okay, well, you know, certain things have polarity, certain things don't, you know, what a resistor actually does, and step them through that kind of stuff. So
those two build videos that they did on QSO Today, which I assume are replayable also. They weren't presentations, they were build live streams, but I assume they would be replayable also. That first one for sure looked like it would be something really good for somebody getting into electronics technology and whatnot from STEM, and it might be something you look at to kind of walk them through. You can go through the video and pause it as many times as you want to and kind of go through that way. And it might be kind of a fun project.
And I'll go ahead and put this out there. If you are a teacher or you know a teacher who wants to do this, that Teachers Institute is a great way to get. I mean, I've been doing ham radio for how many years is it? 27, 28 years, whatever it is. And sitting there watching, you know, Tommy and Matt and Larry up there do their thing, because everybody kind of has their specialty. And I mean, I still pick things up. So if, you know, I think it's what Tommy helped me here. I think it costs the teacher $100 and that's it. And
do you have a link for that?
I can get one.
Yeah. Get one and put it in the Zoom chat, and Frank can share it.
It's it costs the teacher $100, and that covers travel, you know, to and from. They leave with a pile of goodies to take to the classroom and stuff like that. And obviously it's in my best interest, in the league's best interest, and in radio's best interest, because the more teachers we have taking this stuff back to classrooms to present to kids, you know, even if somebody's not getting 15, 20 kids a year, you're getting a couple kids licensed a year, at least interested and exposed to radio. It's serving our purpose. So let me see if I can pull up a link here real quick.
Do you guys have a repeater at the school, Steve?
We don't. We're pretty close to the city of Oxford's repeater, and so in fact, we the repeater that's in the city I actually live in, which is Batesville, we can even hit it, and it's a good 35 miles away, and we're looking to have that one made into a D-Star repeater here shortly. So
that's pretty cool. So you were saying you're putting together a curriculum, or have put together a curriculum for a general class. Are you going to do an extra class? And can I attend?
There it is.
So the way I do, a lot of it is really small group. I don't film any of that stuff for obvious reasons. With kids, I can't film them. Hang on, I just got that link.
You know, all the videos I've filmed and put on my channel, Steve, the Zoom videos being all the live videos, I should say, that I've filmed, I don't get the audience in there. I just focus on the instructor, and I set a second camera on the PowerPoint presentation, and I just let that go. And I don't even see the audience. In fact, the instructor usually tells the audience what I'm doing, and they all kind of tense up. They're like, "Are we going to be on YouTube?" It's like, no, I'm not filming the audience. I'm pointing the camera this way, and they're all sitting behind the camera. So
just don't stand up unless you want to be Mystery Science Theater.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, I guess I could film some of it, but
yeah,
I don't know.
you could get if that's your only concern, you could get around that. Is what I'm saying. Maybe you don't want to do it, and that's okay.
Well, and I don't want to jump through a lot of the hoops either. That
Yeah.
you know,
of course, but
if a kid starts talking, then you know, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Or just go home and refilm it, shoot it there.
Well, you know, we had great plans to Jason and I were actually working on doing something, and I mean, I'd still love to do that. It's just, goodness gracious, I'm working 80, 90 hours a week right now.
If I know what you're referring to.
Yeah, that was right before you got hired at ARRL. We were talking about doing that, and then all of a sudden, boom. And I'm like, I think Steve's still alive somewhere. He's out there in Mississippi, but I don't know where.
Yeah.
so he kind of disappeared for a while. But no, it's all good. It's all good. We'll circle back to that one of these days, maybe. I got a couple irons in the fire myself right now. So, yeah. Speaking of, you talked about, I was asking about a repeater. And you said you're close to did you say Clarksville?
Oxford. We live, the school is in Oxford, and then I live in Batesville, which is 35 or so miles away. And that's the one that we're hoping to turn into a D-Star repeater. So
would it be easier to try something like Allstar, which you can work from you could work an Allstar repeater from any Fang that you have?
I've never really messed with Allstar too much. It's one of those, I need to, you know, they have a DMR repeater in Oxford that never works because, you know, I won't go off on DMR, but, you know, I'm just saying it never works.
Have the guy call me.
So
we can fix that for you. No, the cool thing about Allstar is you don't need a special radio. Any analog radio will work with it. Any analog FM radio, Fang, ICOM, Kenwood, Yaesu, whatever, any FM analog radio will work with it. And then it's basically just internet connecting analog repeaters together with analog. So it's no digital, no transcoding, no anything like that. So you can connect my repeater to your repeater to another repeater out in Florida or however you want to do it. And kids can key up the repeater just like they're sitting next to a regular old repeater with a Bail Fang. And if the repeater itself is connected somewhere else over the internet, then they can talk to people several states away or on the other side of the world. So it's much, for lack of a better term, it's much simpler. I don't really think it's simpler, but it's much easier to kind of get the grasp of because it's just connecting analog. Think of it like Echolink. That sounds much better than Echolink. Echolink, that's a little bit more robust, a little bit better audio quality, and you actually have to have a radio to get into it instead of an app on your phone. So
I was going to bring up Echolink because the kiddo that I have that's upgraded all the way to extra, he lives kind of out in the boonies and he couldn't quite hit the repeater. And it was great. He said, so, you know, this is exactly what I want. He went home and he started Googling how to help his rain. I mean, he emailed me one night. He was standing on top of his barn and I was like, well, let's climb off the barn. And
I don't want to be responsible for that.
but he figured out Echolink on his own. And I don't know if you've ever signed up for Echolink, but it's kind of a little convoluted process. Yeah. And he figured it out on his own, and he came in. He's like, oh, I got Echolink, this and that and the other. And so he put together a PowerPoint and he presented at the local Oxford club. You know, he went to the big folks club and presented that. Yeah. A lot of them had never done it before, so he got them signed up too. So
that's awesome. You still got those frogs going in the background.
Yeah, I keep muting myself. My frogs are just starting up. It's just getting dark.
That's good. Yeah, well, the cool thing about Allstar is that you can build a node out of an HT or a mobile radio and connect it via Wi-Fi or via Ethernet to your home LAN. And then if you had a even if it was like a backyard or a repeater on a dummy load, if you had a repeater at the school that was on Allstar, then someone living far away out in the boonies or too far away to reach the repeater, you could connect to it through Allstar internet, and then all the kids could get together and they could talk on the same repeater, and they wouldn't
Have their own
necessarily
net.
have to be within the repeater range. So it'd be something
Yeah.
kind of fun to do. So
yeah, you and I'll definitely
yeah.
talk about that one.
Yeah, it's just a robust platform, and I love DMR. Don't get me wrong, and D-Star's great too. I mean, Ray's in the house. I have to say that. I'm just kidding, but D-Star's fun to get around. But D-Star and Fusion and even DMR to a certain degree, you're going to pay a lot more for your radios than the Fang. But you could use the Fang on an Allstar network, and that's why I mention Allstar so much. So it's just, you know, it's kind of like a stepping stone. They want to do D-Star, then great, absolutely get them to do D-Star. You guys have if you ever get a 9700 in the classroom, then you've got D-Star, and that would be really fun. But it's definitely, I mean, there's multiple facets you can obviously go with each one that could get them interested a little bit further than what they are now. So that's good. So what
People
Frank?
in there talking about my frog farm. Yeah.
Oh,
This is what happens when you live in Mississippi.
So what is the frog farm exactly? Tell us exactly what you're doing there.
I'm not doing anything. They're just outside my window, apparently.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So, yeah, I mean,
So,
it's, you know, it's 90 degrees today, and it started raining and got humid. And so the frogs are calling their frog honeys, I guess.
Are they bullfrogs?
I don't know. I've never actually gone and looked at them. They're frogs. They croak. So
if they're bullfrogs, I'd be getting a gigging stick out there, man, and having some frog legs for dinner. That's what I might be a little bit.
I'll try it, but I won't try it with you cooking. It's got to be someone knows how to cook them.
I'm going to kill the frog and gut it and give it to you to cook, Frank.
I don't even know where to start on that.
So they serve these things at like the local fish houses and stuff. And yeah, Mike K5ATA just said they're bad. They're not. I've tried them just because I live here, and everybody said, "Oh, you've got to try them." And
frog legs are awesome. If you've had
it tastes like slimy chicken.
No, well then they're not cooked right then. I mean, you got to cook them right. I don't know. I'm not a chef, okay, but I've had frog legs at restaurants, and there's a guy that used to be on my hunting lease that he would bring out frog legs. I think he would get them at the Korean market, the local Korean market, and he would go buy frogs legs, and he would buy like hen eggs and several other stuff like that there. And if you have them cooked correctly, they taste like really sweet white meat chicken, and they're very or similar to quail. Similar to quail, if you've ever had quail, they're very tasty.
The only thing I'm gonna say, the French love them, so that means they're terrible.
Okay, they're actually quite good.
It tastes like chicken. Yeah, you know what they say. Everything tastes like chicken.
Everything tastes like chicken. Yeah, that's why the Matrix got it wrong. They didn't know what chicken tastes like, so they made everything taste like chicken.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, good deal. No, I like them. I think they're quite tasty.
But Vern says with Frank's beans.
Hey, you know, frog legs and Frank's beans would be a tasty I don't know how we always get off on food tangents around here.
I'm here.
We all like to eat.
We all like to eat.
Deep fried, I could probably do deep fried frog legs. That'd probably be like chicken.
Mike was talking. He said, I was talking about EMPs are bad. Frog legs are okay. So EMPs are bad.
Yeah,
I've got a couple of videos about well, not really about EMPs. I've got some prepping videos upcoming, and EMPs are a part of that. So you guys be watching for that.
I got one I've been wanting to do for a while. It's been in my idea book since the beginning I started it. I need to find materials and time to do it.
I can relate.
Yeah. Me too, man.
I've been just busy behind the scenes trying to get everything set up so I can have successful channel and everything, and it takes time.
Yes. Yeah.
And so the IRS doesn't come after me. That's the big one. Well, that's what I'm trying to do right now. Yeah. Get all that situated.
Yeah, for sure.
Anyone know a cheap accountant?
I think with accountants, it's kind of like lawyers. You get what you pay for.
Yeah.
So
True.
Yeah. My wife's an accountant, so I have to be careful what I say about accountants.
I know.
Yeah. She'd probably do it for you for maybe, I don't know, maybe a nice dinner out somewhere. She'd probably do it for you.
I can do that.
So
I'll buy dinner.
Yeah.
So yeah, my taxes are going to be a hot mess this year. So.
Yeah.
Now I did have the other night on our live stream, I had some pictures of the Padawan shack. If I can share my screen, I can.
Yes.
Yeah, go ahead.
Let me turn that on. That'd be great.
It's still a work in progress, so it's still kind of hot messy.
All right. Yeah,
See if
you
I
should
can
have it
find
now.
That's the right one. I think y'all are seeing it. You seeing it?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the obviously not everything's hooked up yet. Up there you can see the MFJ pass through that MFJ Stubbs sent me. We got a new classroom this year, so we had to move everything. Everything's kind of a mess. But there's the 7300. Thanks again, Ray. There's that ASDEN radio that we're talking about. It's got the postie note or whatever that note is. Probably Cody's,
Oh yeah.
It's probably Cody's instructions on how to program it. Because when it got here, I just told him, I was like, here, figure out how to program this, and he did, which is then that's I forget the model number. MFJ sent that power supply as well. I put that Apple computer there just to make Mike feel good. I don't actually use it. It actually doesn't even have a hard drive in it. I have to, if I want to boot that, I have to plug in an external hard drive and hold down the command function 8 and do yoga poses or something to make it go.
Yeah.
Then,
so is that a pass through? I go back one.
Yeah. That's the
MFJ one. I've got a couple of those
MFJ
myself.
one.
Those are nice.
And
I don't see any coaxials hook up.
That's
to
because it's not installed yet. See, the way things work at school is you kind of have to either ask permission or pray for forgiveness. And I was actually just about to cut that and stick it in there, and my principal was walking down the hall, so I figured I'd leave it there. I need to come up with a couple window locks though, because you can't lock the window once it's in there. So those little window locks you put on the slides up there. But because I found out like 3 days before school started. Oh, by the way, new classroom. It's like, oof. Okay.
Oops,
so
yeah. Okay.
So we moved everything. I mean, it's great. I asked to do it last year. It's just everybody in the district got corona over the summer and they kind of neglected to tell me. So, but we got it moved.
Oops.
So that's the 7300. You'll see the blank waterfall because there is no coax on the back of it yet. And there's the obligatory Germex because it's still corona times.
Oh yeah.
There's that ASDEN radio, and that's the 4230 power supply.
That's the one I've got over here too.
Yeah, it's it's nice and small. I mean, compared to the big humdingers I got back when I first got licensed. That's a closer view of the pass through, and there's our club call. So if you ever hear us, there's the messy part. This is the part we're still in. These are going to turn into project stations where you can see some of the soldering stations that some folks have sent me. Izzo sent me some, and Chuck KK6USY sent me some. But once this is cleaned up now, but it wasn't then. This is going to be where they're going to build these kits and work on. You can see some of the past year projects. There's little Arduino cars and
that's cool
stuff like that. And you can't really see it, but all the way in the back is the first group of kids I ever got licensed back in, I think it was 2004, maybe.
Wow.
Had a few kids licensed in Texas back there in Duncanville. And there's from afar.
You ever still talk to some of those?
My wife still talks to one of them every now and then.
Okay.
And in fact, that group of kids years later taught me a good lesson about keeping them engaged in the hobby, because I moved away that next year. And if there's not somebody there to keep them engaged in the hobby, every one of them their license is expired. So that was the learning that everybody has to have is, sure, I felt great. I didn't have radios to give them and whatnot. Sure, they got to borrow mine when I was there, but when I left, then so did their connection to amateur radio. And there was nobody there to kind of keep it going. So if you don't have some way to immediately get them thoroughly engaged in the hobby, then that's kind of what happens.
Quick question, Mr. Teacher.
Yes.
Why do you hate spoons?
I don't. I just hate spoon feeding children. That's actually what that says. It says no spoon feeding, because everything they do, I want them, I'll lead them to an answer, but I will not give them the answer. I want them to discover that on their own. And, kids nowadays, and I'm going to kind of get off on a little tangent here. Kids nowadays are spoon fed pretty much everything. Everybody gets a trophy for showing up, and
agreed.
everybody, if you don't have an answer, somebody says, it's okay, Johnny. And they give him the answer. So Johnny feels good, but Johnny would feel a whole lot better in the long run if Johnny learned how to do it himself. And so, my running joke is, and actually can't really see it, but there's actually old dried peanut butter on that, because I tell them that I use that spoon to eat peanut butter, not to feed you answers. And that's kind of the thing. And then you'll see the Morse code thing up there. I do have several kids that are studying it. This is absolutely not the right way to teach Morse code, but my wife made that for me.
You looked over your shoulder for
and well, I just make sure the door's not open. And now,
so I see you have a couple world maps there. You're not quite ready to hit HF, but you're planning to pin those when you contact stations.
We're gonna pin those.
Ooh,
my old classroom, I had power lines. You went out my window and there were power lines immediately overhead. So, another shout out to Ray. Ray gave us an alpha antenna FMJ, a nice antenna because I had no way to put wire in the air. And so they've worked a lot of places, stateside. But yeah, the goal is we're going to run a wire from right outside here. And if you go straight out that way, it leads to the top of the gymnasium. And I just need to find a time when people aren't watching so that I can kind of run that wire up there. But either way, I've got a nice power line free lawn out here. So if worse comes to worse, I can always set that alpha antenna is an awesome
What's your
antenna.
roof, out of curiosity? Metal?
I don't know.
Because if you got
whatever they build roofs out of,
you got those push-ups drop ceilings. You can just string an antenna up there.
No, there's beams and all kinds of hot mess in there.
Okay.
So I did think about actually tuning up the beams that are in there, but I opted not to, just because I was already bleeding into our intercom system.
Sheesh.
So it's okay. It's just the couple of classrooms I was getting, they don't really do much anyway, so they needed a little entertainment.
Polaroids everywhere.
What kind of, so is that alpha antenna your main one, Steve?
Yeah, that's the antenna that we use primarily. Just because I can't leave it. Well, my old room, I couldn't leave anything outside permanently.
Yeah.
And the kids can set that antenna up in 38 seconds. I mean, we opened the window, tossed the coax out, and it was boom, it was up.
Yeah. Okay.
So
yeah, I guess the question is, can you put something on top of the roof of the building? So like maybe a loop, but some kind of loop antenna or something like that.
I have to be kind of discreet because the city took over. It's kind of weird. I teach at the county school, but we're now in the city limits, and there's a city school and a county school. So they annexed our area. So now we fall under their whatever requirements are. Okay. And so they actually have a repeater antenna over there for our school radios. And they had to they had to jump through like hoops for 6 months to get permission to put that up there. So whatever I put up, I have to be able to hide behind an air conditioner or put it in a place that's not. That's why wire is so good. They're not going to see wire from the road.
Right.
So I can stick a end-fed half wave or a long wire antenna out there and go for a while, and unless it falls down on somebody's car, they're not going to know it's there. So
I mean there's I can think of a couple of antennas right now that are like HOA stealth type antennas that work really well. In fact, Izzo has one. The TN07 makes a couple of antennas, and there's several of them out there. TN07, he's a gentleman named Bob out of Tennessee. TN's for Tennessee, made in the USA, great antennas, and he's got a couple of stealth HOA antennas that work really well. Of course, I think that, I think radio waves have something like that, and probably MFJ has something like that as well.
Izzo actually sent me home. I went and had dinner with Izzo while I was up there, and he sent me home with a Wolf River coil also that we're going to play with that one and see. And I've got, I don't even know what model it is. I've got Stubbs sent me one to try to use. This is not going to fall into the stealth category, though. It's going to have to be, it's going to have to be hidden. So
yeah. Okay.
But that's kind of the shag. You can see that big, long yellow poster. That's stuff that when they first start researching stuff about amateur radio, they find things that they think would be fun to do. And I don't know if I can zoom that in or not without. Maybe.
I like Don's comment here. Just tell them you're trying to improve the Wi-Fi. They'll let you do anything.
Actually, they get mad about me and the
Mm.
Wi-Fi.
So they already know. Oh no.
So this is some of the stuff I had them set their own goals. My wife wrote this because I can't write. That's why God made keyboards. But
right.
These are some of the things that they want to do, and some of it's cool. Contesting is a fun one. They all want to do de-expeditions because what's the name of that reef that everybody's seen the picture of, like the dude sitting on a couple 2x4s on a reef and activating it as a de-expedition.
Yeah.
They all found that one right away. They're like, I want to do that.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, that takes a little while. Let's start smaller. So
have you ever done any POTA with them? Are you allowed to take them on like a field trip to a park or something?
So we had a POTA plan that was a field trip, and then that got nixed because of COVID. So what we did instead is the local club let me kind of have a POTA thing for that, because none of them had ever done it either. And so we invited kids from there, because technically the way it works, they tested my kids. So if they test with them, they're automatically members for a year.
Yeah.
And so we circumvented a few school requirements by just saying, this is an Oxford University of Mississippi Amateur Radio Club event. Here's where it is, kind of thing. And so they came out, and in fact, it was awesome because Jerica showed them how to set up, how to run POTA, and had a great time. We had 5, 6, 7 kids there from the classroom, which was cool because we just set up in Holly Springs National Forest, and got a little girl. I think she's 8 or 9 years old, and she was lighting it up on HF, man.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
But that's kind of the Padawan Shack. Oops, going the wrong way. In progress. So hopefully next time you'll see some pins on that bad boy.
Yeah, for sure. That'd be great. Well, cool. Well, okay. So do you do just technician in general, or did you say you did extra? I said you said you had one kid that had extra, but
I didn't go there with. I mean, that was all on him.
That was all. That's what I was wondering.
That's it, Ray. Scarborough Reef, and
Scarborough Reef.
Yeah, if you don't know that one, Google it up. It's every kid in there. It's like, I want to do that. But
Ray gave a call sign. That's probably BS7H.
Yeah,
that sounds like a Chinese call sign to me, but it's probably BS78. That's probably where he's talking about is Scarborough Reef. Cool. I will look that up. Go ahead, Steve. I'm sorry.
So, but no, I didn't. That kid's just that into radio, which is,
it's awesome.
It was one of those. He was actually going to test at field day, and we were going to show off. I'll go ahead and brag on Glarg for a minute. Laurel had been doing all of our testing through the club for the first year and a bit, and then we had the Snowmageddon came through last year, and so we missed our testing date, and we rescheduled it, and then it was still closed down, so we missed our test date. And then Steve, K5ATA, shot me a message. He goes, hey, brother, we can get them tested right now. And hats off to them. They did it all. I mean, completely free, bent over backwards, making it work with my schedule and their schedule. I think we did 4 or 5 different sessions to get all these kids tested.
Nice.
And so, but as far as the extra, we were planning to show off the online testing at field day, and then kid came down sick, and we told him, stay there. It might be the Rona, so don't come. So he ended up testing at the next club session, which I wasn't there. I was already in Connecticut by then.
Okay. So this is a fairly new upgrade for him then.
Yeah, he upgraded just a couple months ago.
Okay.
So I mean, he's only been licensed since October.
Wow.
So that
is awesome.
Yeah, he got it, and he got the bug, and mom was instantly just like, okay, where's this money coming from? I was like,
how old is this kid?
Going into 9th grade. So
okay,
what's that? 14, I guess.
Yeah, something like that.
Great kid. I mean, he's the exact kind of kid that you want to get interested in radio. These kids like him and my daughter and Leah that they take it and they run with it, and they're excited about it, and other kids are asking. I started my school year this year, and I had kids I hadn't even introduced amateur radio. Don't you do that ham radio thing people talk about? And that's what I want. I want kids out there talking about it, walking around with their radio, and even if they're just talking to each other, across the hall, they're burning it up with the repeaters on fire all the time, and they finally figured out simplex. But yeah, that's what I want. I want kids excited about it and coming and asking about it. So
Don asked a question here. Can you set up a 7300 at home with the antenna and everything, then let your kids remote into it at the classroom?
Sure, I could. I've set up the 7300 at home a few times. I pretty much, if it's not at school, it's in that orange case that you saw on the floor there.
That's where mine sits as well.
It's
my POTA rig.
I do take the 7300 to POTA quite often because it's a great radio.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it doesn't feel the same to kids. I would rather use a compromised antenna or a bad situation where they can still make contacts, where they can put their hands on it, they can feel it, they can plug things in and make it work. Because I like to differentiate it from what they can already do with cell phones and social media apps and stuff like that now, as much as possible. And if it's something that they build and they create and they put together, they assemble, it drives that message home a little bit better.
That's a good way to look at it, I think. Yeah, it's the remote operation is very fun, but at the same time, yeah, it is a little bit too internet chat room esque, I guess.
And there's, I think, is it remotehamradio.com or whatever it is? It's free for kids, from what I understand.
Really? Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah, one of them. Okay. I think that's it, and I may be making.
They're the ones that are in bed with Flex Radio real heavily. RHR.
Yeah, I think that's them.
Yeah.
One of them, it's like free for kids. So
it wouldn't surprise me if it was them. I hadn't heard that before, so I don't know, but that wouldn't surprise me if that was the case. So I've been trying like the Dickens to get those guys to come on the show. They're just really busy. Flex Radio kind of owns the remote game right now in Ham Radio HF, in my opinion. They have just the sweetest setup for remote operation. Having said that, everybody has a really good, Elecraft does it, ICOM. That ICOM software is a little bit cumbersome with the 7300 because it doesn't have a built-in PC, but like the 7610 and the 9700 have the built-in computer in the back of the radio, so you just plug it in and to the internet, and you can remote to it from the RSA B1 or whatever it is software that they have from anywhere. And it makes it really easy to do. 7300s, you got to jump through one or two more hoops, but it works well once you get it all up and running.
Yeah,
but
you're
right.
I probably know a guy that can help show me how to jump through the hoops. So.
Probably so, yeah. But you're right about that. You're right about the just working it through a computer wouldn't be the same thing as hooking it up, put your hands on it, plugging in the antenna, and that kind of thing.
It's just like one of the projects they build is an FM receiver, and it's actually it's the Elenco brand. I've got one up there. It's not this cool little dude, but it's the same thing. Nobody listens to FM radio anymore. They stream all their music. These kids don't. I mean, we old folks do, but they stream everything, and they've never seen FM radio. So it's one of those. They could do it in their car, but when they build the actual receiver themselves, and all of a sudden it works. The look on their face, running around the building, hitting the little button, scanning, trying to find out what stations they have. It's hilarious because the other teachers are sticking their head out like, "What in the world are you doing?" And like, look. And it helped that one day the president of the school board was walking by, and they're running around like crazy people, and she's like, "What are y'all doing?" And she's like, "Look." That kind of helped my case a little bit because she loved it.
That's great. Well, Steve, what besides now, some people are. I mean, we get this question a lot, so some people we're probably going to want to send you radios, and of course, once this episode ends, it'll be playable on YouTube, and I'm going to put it up on my podcast channel as well. So besides the obvious about sending you radios, and the link that Frank just shared, the wish list in the chat from Amazon as well. So be sure and you ought to keep updating that, Steve, and putting new stuff on there periodically. But if someone wants to help you in kind of a unique way, what's the best way for them to contact you?
They can email me. It's just goodgamehamradio@gmail.com.
Okay.
I've also, obviously I've got my YouTube channel. Like I said, I live stream every Wednesday. The other videos, I promise I'll catch them up eventually. But that's it. That's the best way to get me. And
yeah. Okay. I just wanted the audience to hear it. I already knew that, of course. But But good. Okay. Well,
And
cool.
I will say, you know, I do drop like whenever I get the kids on the air, if you're in a Discord or anything like that, I try to go hop in there. If the kids are on the air, I try to drop in there that they're on there. So if you ever see some weird Instagram or tweet or something saying Padawan's on the air and a frequency, try to work them, because the kids just, I mean, they, you know, that's one thing I'll brag on Chuck, KK6USY. Chuck has got a station that's,
Oh, he's got a hoss of a station.
I've never not heard Chuck.
I know it.
And, you know, he's up in the San Francisco area somewhere. But every time I drop it in the Discord, boom, there it is. So, you know, if you want to make a kid's day, let them talk to somewhere they've never talked to before. So
now, are they, when you say Padawan's on the air, are they working under the club call sign?
Everybody but the one extra. Well, actually, he's not in my classroom, so it would be after school for him. But yeah, generally they're under the club call sign.
Okay, so everyone with Ham Alert needs to add, is it N5LAF?
N5LAF.
Yeah. So everyone with Ham Alert right now, go into your Ham Alert and add November 5 Lima Alpha Foxtrot to your Ham Alert, so that when you see those come across RBN or PSK Reporter or whatever Ham Alert's picking up that day, definitely go back and say, find where they are and go work them.
Yeah, and be patient with them, because it's like I explained to the club people, you know, they're learning, they're brand new, even, you know. So first guy that talked to them on the repeater was like, well, what's your QTH? Started dropping all these Q signals, Q codes, and I was like, they're looking at me, they got that deer in headlights thing, they wanted to give me the radio back. I'm like, no, just ask them, you know. But so try to remember that stuff. Think back to when you were brand new and all the stuff you didn't know. So, you know, throw out, what's your QTH? Oh, by the way, that means this. And, you know, I try to make everything a teaching thing. Marty, they're on the air whenever I can get away with getting them on the air. So they just canceled any after school activities. So right now it won't be after school hours Central Time. But hopefully during weekdays, I'm trying to think what time that class period is. I think it starts at like 9:50 or something like that Central.
So I had a question.
42.
What? Yes, that's always the answer. I love it. What languages are you taught? You said you're doing computer science. What languages are you teaching the kids?
So the state has a requirement that we use code.org, and it's drag and drop block coding. It's JavaScript. But with the other kids, it doesn't say I can't use things in addition to code.org. So they're doing the state mandated part just really quickly. And we're doing Python with them right now. So
ooh, that hurt.
We're actually
oh, that hurt. Python.
Yeah, you'll be okay, because
Raspbian, baby, you gotta teach them the pie.
So well, we're doing, especially right now, whatever it is that I teach has to be available in case things have to go virtual. And so there's Charles Severance, his Twitter is Dr. Chuck. He's got a great series. It's free for the first long while anyway. And it does a great job of stepping them through it. In fact, you know, I've dabbled around with it for a long time. I've just never formally taken any kind of course. So I actually paid my $41 to get the certificate at the end. And I'm going through it with them at the same time, which is, they think is kind of cool. So, you know, I have to do the same homework they have to do. So, but yet that's where we are. So if Frank feels like teaching a different language, he can certainly step up to the plate.
I think Frank needs
to C++. C# is okay, but I do not want it to be someone's first language. It's too much hand holding, and the ideas are half baked in my opinion. Everything's a pointer, but we're not going to allow you to manage the pointers whatsoever. Just know it's a pointer and there's some heap, and that's all you got to know.
So. I think you need to get Frank to learn English before you have him teach Padawan, Steve. That's just my opinion.
I know English. So the English very well.
See, the last formal class or course I took on coding was Pascal. So that tells you just how long it's been.
Yeah.
I did a little Pascal.
So, in fact, T.O. had a Turbo Pascal box on one of his streams the other day, and I was like, I had that box.
Oh, wow.
So,
goodness. Okay. Well, cool. Any final thoughts, Steve? Anything that you... Yeah, you know what? One of the coolest things about the amateur radio community, man, is that when you need something, that's for a good cause. I find that, just asking for it is not, there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with just saying, hey, and I think you've said you don't need anything right now, but come September, October, November, that may change. But my experience has been that, you put it out to the amateur radio community, and there's a lot of hams out there who want to ham it forward. And, as Mike would say,
and Mike has gone above and beyond as well.
Yeah. Mike has done well. Of course, Callum has done some stuff, and MFJ has with their G90s and stuff.
I mean, I can't even list them all. My wife's got a list of all of them, and Adam K5ATA regularly sends stuff. I don't even know what's coming half the time. It's just a box shows up, and it's like, oh, yeah, there's a box of stuff. Wonder what this is. So yeah, okay. But you're right. I mean, there's never a time that if the kids need something, I can't come on here and say, we're trying to do this, and they just ham it forward. And it's next thing you know, it's just like you when you reached out on those radios. I had those 18 radios in about 2 weeks.
That's great.
So
that's great. I just I sent you a couple myself, and all I did was put the word out mostly. And the amateur radio community is certainly willing to step up for getting new folks into the hobby, or at least the ones that care about moving the hobby forward do, which is most of us, honestly. Most of us on, how should I say that diplomatically? Most of us who are willing
don't hang out on certain
right. Yeah. Most of us who are willing to watch YouTube live streams over and over again. So, and that means you guys in the chat right now. So, but yeah, so good deal. Well, Steve, I appreciate your time tonight, man. It was great to
thank you for having me.
Yeah, it was great getting you on. Great learning this stuff. I look forward to meeting you face to face for the first time next week. I guess week? Friday. You'll be there on Friday.
I'll be getting in Friday. So
okay,
unless my camp reservations are still for Thursday, but we'll just have to. I don't know. The neighboring school district already went virtual, so depending what they do, I may get out a little earlier than I thought. So.
Okay. Good.
So
good. All right, well, I'm going to do a closeout real quick. You guys hang tight in the Zoom chat. Now I'm going to close this out, and then I'll be right back.
Can I say something real fast?
Yeah, go ahead.
Tomorrow, Monday Night Ham Radio is coming up, and let's just go ahead and run over the playlist. I believe it's going to be starting out with Jason. Jason's going to have a nice long stream. After that, it's going to be Tank Radio Live. What? How did that happen? I'm going to have Shane on. And we are going to be just talking about what's going on with our channels, maybe some Clubhouse stuff. We maybe have someone else to come on and help us. We'll see. Something's a little in the air. After that, we got Christian with the first activation of Wagon
Tongue.
Wagon Tongue.
That's what it looks like to me, Wagon Tongue. I assume that's a summit. He does a lot of summit stuff, so I assume that's a summit somewhere. Yeah.
And then WJ6X has a premiere, and followed by TO Ham Nuggets. But the most important one of all, my stream, Tank Radio. We're live. What?
Live stream on Frank's channel
on Monday. So come by, see what's going on. My stream's going to be starting at 6, but Monday Night Ham Radio's probably going to be looking to start around 4 or 5 o'clock. It's still a little in the air, but the link's out there. We tweeted it. Let me go ahead and put it in the chat. And Jason, I give it back to you.
Thanks, man. Appreciate you being here tonight, Frank. I'm going to do a closeout real quick, and I'll be right back with you guys on Zoom. So y'all hang out for a minute. All right. So let me go over here. Right there. Okay, so I got a couple of new patrons over the course of the last week or two. I updated my list finally. So special thing. Actually, you know what? That this is what I get for having to restart. Having to restart each time is kind of sucks. Hold on a second. I'm gonna get this right because I already put this in here once, and then I had to restart Streamlabs because it always fudges up on me. So there we go. Okay, that's better. So Tommy Smith and N5REL, Steve K04AFL, KN6KIB, and Jay Finn, I'm sorry, our newest patrons on the channel. Thank you for joining. Thank you for moving Ham Radio forward. I'm going to do an August Zoom call, and I was really wanting to do it this week, and I just flat ran out of time. So we're probably going to do it after Huntsville, the week after Huntsville, maybe Wednesday night, Thursday night, somewhere in there. So you guys be watching on the Patreon stream for that. I'm just going to announce it to everybody and share a Zoom link, and then we'll probably do it during a weekday. I did the first one on Saturday. I did the one in July on a weeknight. I think it was a Tuesday night, and the weeknight turned out a little bit better. It had a little bit better attendance, but I'm going to change it up every week because when I did the poll that said, would you rather have it on the weekday, weeknight, whatever, people worked all kinds of weird hours. So I thought, if I change it up, then everybody can attend at least every now and then. So special thanks to the patrons out there. Really appreciate you guys being there. So 73 to all, thank you for joining. Be sure to check the links. I'll go through and I'll put all the links we shared in the live chat tonight. I'll repost in the description after this video ends and it processes on YouTube. The link to Steve Goodgame, his channel is there now. I put it there when I created the stream. So go subscribe to him. Check out his videos on Wednesday night for just all kinds of just talk on ham radio. And be sure and watch the streams when he puts up new stuff about the Padawans getting on the air. What he calls his students, he calls them Padawans for YouTube monetization purposes. But I don't care on this channel because I can always, if they come back and they say, well, your stream was about kids, I'm like, no, it wouldn't. Show it to me. I don't mind that. But he has to deal with it all the time. It's just easier for him to do it that way. So 73 to all. Thanks for being in the chat tonight. You guys have a good one. And we'll see you tomorrow night at Monday Night Ham Radio.